Revenue Assurance Summit organized by the regulatory authority. From the Punch newspaper, tax reform, reps divided as bills scale first reading. After months of uncertainty, the House of Representatives on Wednesday debated the 4 tax bills transmitted to the National Assembly for consideration and passed by President Bola Tinubu. The lawmakers passed the bills for a second reading after reaching a consensus on the contentious value-added tax provisions during plenary. Customs destroy 100 billion naira illegally imported drugs in rivers. The Nigerian Customs Service Area 2 Command in One, River State, in collaboration with the Office of the National Security Advisor, has destroyed about 60 containers of substandard and illegally imported pharmaceutical products worth over 100 billion naira. The destruction took place at the River State Waste Management Dump Site along the Port Harcourt Airport Road on Wednesday. FG may ban trucks as tanker fire claims 493. The federal government, through the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, has said that it may impose a ban on trucks with 60,000-litre capacity, preventing them from operating on federal highways. This follows the increasing number of deaths resulting from petrol tanker accidents, which has led to the death of 493 persons in 3 years. The government, in a proposal to stakeholders, wants tankers restricted to a maximum of 45,000 litres. Government to revive textile industry, tackle smuggling. The federal government has pledged to address the challenges facing the country's textile industry, assuring manufacturers of policies that will create a level playing field for local producers. The Minister of State for Industry, Senator John Eno, committed to this effort on Wednesday during a visit to Sunflag Nigeria Limited, a textile manufacturing company in Lagos, as part of a 3-day industrial tour. From the Explainer, NOA Katsina alerts citizens on cerebrospinal meningitis, Lassa fever, cholera outbreaks. In frantic efforts aimed at sensitizing the public to recent outbreaks of some deadly diseases, the National Orientation Agency, NOA Katsina State Directorate, last week embarked on integrated public enlightenment campaigns on the prevention of cerebrospinal meningitis, Lassa fever and cholera in the state. During one of the enlightenment campaigns held at the Primary Healthcare Kofa Marusa, and attended by health personnel and traditional leaders in Katsina Metropolis, Katsina State Director Alhaji Muntari Sagam said the awareness campaign by the agency on the outbreak of such diseases in neighboring states and the country had become compelling to safeguard citizens' lives. We'll take the last one from Alausa Alert. Governor gives contractor 12 months to complete 280-bed Ojo General Hospital. Given Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu's renewed commitment to pushing the project to completion, the pace of work on the General Hospital project in Ojo Town may improve rapidly. The governor gave a 12-month deadline to the contractor handling the project when he led an on-the-spot tour of the project site to assess the progress of the construction work. That's it. You can pick up a copy of any of the Daily Signal online to read more. Also, go online to read more, and you could get across to us via our social media handles on X, Lagos Traffic 961, on Instagram, Lagos Traffic Radio 961, on Facebook, Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel, Traffic Radio 961, and follow me across social media at Dele Agadumo.
from Simpson Bridge, Dolphin Bridge, connecting Osborne Foreshore. Looking pretty good inwards Bayokuku this morning. Bayokuku intersection, Golden Gate, as well as NNPC Registry, inwards Akin Adishola Bridge. All looking pretty good to go at this time. Fallable roundabout inwards Awolowo Road. That entire stretch down to Nikon roundabout, it's appreciably good too. Fallamo inwards Bodilon Road, as well as Alexander, linking up with the Link Bridge. Alexander roundabout inwards areas like Gerald roundabout, looking pretty good to go for now. And then Obalende Bridge and environs are also looking busy. This is due to high influx at this time and no impediment cited for now. Those of you driving through that corridor, we're here to give you more. All right, then let's switch gears to celebrate you. It's birthday profile time on Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. All right, then, so today is the 13th of February, the year 2025. Taiwo Wakil is celebrating. Taiwo Wakil Nelson, I understand you are of the Protocol Department, Office of the Chief of Staff to the Governor. Happy birthday to you. As we celebrate, we are celebrating you today on National Radio. Kehinde Nelson Uzebu is clocking 52 today, and I understand you reside in the United States of America. Happy birthday to you. We wish you the very, very best. Samson Olukade Adubi is an admin and human resource officer with the Lagos State Government. Happy birthday to you too. Joy Ezinne Owama is celebrating today as well. A mass communicator, I do understand. We wish you the very best. Wale Abiodun is a journalist. All right then, Wale, happy birthday to you. Damola Atondalawal is celebrating. Another admin and human resource staff with Lagos State Government. Big shout out going out to you too. Kazim Yusuf is celebrating on this day too. Aribi Matthew Abayomi, aka Yomade Slim. All right then, so we wish you the very, very best of this day too. Taurid Zainab Omotola is celebrating. You are CEO of Hair Bonnie Tea. Big shout out going out to you on this day. Celebrating today as well is Mr. Ojikutu Habib Abimbola, who is a Principal Auditor, Civil Service Commission, right here in Lagos State. Big shout out going out to you. Ainde Taufik is celebrating today as well. We wish you the very best of this day. Mr. Adenaiki Sahid Adeshola celebrating today as well. Senior Auditor Valuation Office, right here in Lagos too. Big shout out going out to you. Mojisola Oshikoya is clocking 41 today. Happy birthday to you. Mrs. Victoria Ogungba Igbe is celebrating. Happy birthday to you too. Chidi Cassidy Paul Uchebwe is celebrating. I understand you're based in Abuja. Happy birthday to you. Engineer Ezekiel Adetunji Adegoke is celebrating. And you are General Manager of Pristine Bokel, Nigeria Limited. Big shout out to you. Your husband to Bola Adegoke. We wish you the very, very best of this day too. Engineer Garuba Toyin is celebrating. Assistant Director for Vehicle Inspection Service Area Command. Big shout out to you too. I'm talking about the one at Alimosho. Okay then, so we wish you the very, very best. Traffic Managers family, happy birthday to Akinola Shegun, who is at the headquarters in Oshodi. Akinola Shegun, happy birthday to you. Celebrating today as well is Adenigba Akim, who is also at the headquarters in Oshodi. Happy birthday to you. Musa Abdul Rafiu is celebrating. Lasma in MOT at the Secretariat in Alausa, Ikeja. Big shout out going out to you too. Omotosho Adegboyega is of Zone 3 in Ikmonri. Happy birthday to you. Celebrating today as well is Adeye, okay, Adenrele, who's of Zone 6 in Agege. Happy birthday to you. Suluka Moshood is of Zone 9 in Victoria Island. Happy birthday to you too. Celebrating today as well is Olasheye Ayoluwa of Zone 11 in Idiroko. Anthony, happy birthday to you too. Ganiu Lukman belongs to Zone 17 in Ojo, and celebrating today as well is Adebayo John of Zone 18 in Ikoyi. Happy birthday to you. Adisa Adewale, Zone 19 Okiodo. Happy birthday to you too. And Obadofin Vincent of Zone 20 PWD Ikeja Long. Happy birthday to you. Last but not least, Subar Modinat Funke of Zone 23 in Ekwe. Okay, that's an addition to that one as well. And that's Tan Olodudu Yisau of Zone 39 Central Business District in Ebute. Olaifa Olajide belongs to Zone 40, Central Business District, Ebute Row as well. And then Adeshoye Joseph of Zone 42, Imota. All right, then. So to all of you celebrating, we wish you the very, very best, and we say congratulations.
Call me Shaq Johnson. Celebration. Now it's time for celebration. Oh, you jubilation. No matter your condition. You know it's time for celebration. Yes, the jubilation. No matter your condition. And so what you waiting for? Mommy Joe. One time. Oh, you pakuruma, go pakurumana. You gotta pakuruma, go pakurumana. You know it's time for celebration. Oh, you jubilation. And then no matter your condition. And yes, it's time for celebration. Oh, you jubilation. No matter your condition. And so what you waiting for? One time, what you waiting for?
Hi, I'm Tunde Obey.
And I'm Umi Obey.
And together, we're known as Two.
When you rise up in the morning and give thanks for another beautiful day,
When you step out of your beautiful home and drive out in your beautiful car,
always remember, fasten your seatbelt, slow down. It's better to be safe and arrive alive than not at all.
stay alert, stay focused, and above all, stay safe.
This message is from Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM.
Moving Lagos forward. Two.
Ajaleke Aja, enter with your change. Jovi, I'm not willing to I talk my own now.
Oga, come on, may I pass?
Now Aja they go, now Leki they go. Enter with your change, Joe. I they shout now.
Driver, won't you allow me sit down before you
Ajaleke Aja, Oga, you pass some money from the bag there. Oh, who give me 1,000 naira bag? For many people, where will be? I will join you people. You know, Tori Mopari, I talk my own say, I don't get change.
Now me get down and they go VI.
Ah, if I start now, my phone not to be. Don't be all this one.
I know you yoga. Park man come down.
Driver, beg, park your boss. Make this coconut come off my boss, I beg.
driver, not try amo. Even like say you want me to collect your motor for illegal parking and you go still pay 20,000 naira fine if now your first time. And if you be regular customer, you go pay 30,000 naira fine.
Ah, I don't know that one, no, guy. You gas wait tomorrow reach the nearest legal bus stop before you come down.
Conductor, close this door now. You won't make a phone.
I beg, no vex. I want pick passenger, no vex.
It be like say you never see the new rules for Lagos. As you just they commit offense, they drive, they go. If you leave your door open and them catch you, you go pay 20,000 naira fine if now your first time. And if you be regular customer, you go pay 30,000 naira fine. Apart from this fine where you go pay, you go still do 1 month community service. I they talk my own no.
Auntie, calm down. Are you there sabi all these things? Shey they work for government?
I know they work for any government too. Now radio I they learn all these rules. Now every day I they listen to Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM.
Okay, me you don't say as they go. Put on for Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. Make you say learn waiting they go.
We have something very important to discuss this morning. It's all about the impact of the 2025 budget, looking at its impact, the strategies, and the expected outcomes. But we'll touch on that very shortly. Let's talk a bit about the traffic situation as we move along this morning. The update from the Igbo-Ileri end says that tanker that we talked about earlier on having a tire problem at Igbo-Ileri main carriageway. The flyover inwards Yanosashi is still very much on ground, but it's receiving attention, I understand, but it's not really affecting the flow of traffic. Traffic managers are on ground there trying to sort out things as you move along. K2, we told you about a broken down minibus on top of the bridge inwards the toll gate. But the good news, it has been finally taken off, so it's a much better drive if you're navigating through that corridor this morning. We've taken you through the Ikoyi and Obalide, and most of the areas there still looking very, very cool and calm for now. From Inner Marina, we can tell you it's free flow of traffic at the Inner Marina Road. From UBA roundabout, it's looking good. UBA, you have it good within that particular corridor, and of course if you're proceeding all through that corridor too, we have lots of traffic managers proceeding towards NNPC filling station, looking good, down to Cathedral Church, and of course Nightingale intersection. It's a busy movement from Oniko. Talking about the bridge there, the Sending Flagstaff House is a busy one, linking up with McQueen Bridge inwards of Fink Canal. It's a busy one. Lots of vehicles making use of that corridor. State House, inwards McQueen Bridge, linking up with Force Road is slow, but moving traffic has been experienced there. We can tell you traffic is also looking very good from Onikon roundabout, proceeding towards TBS, inwards Waterboy, linking up with Nightingale intersection. The entire stretch of Igbo-Shere Road, as well as Broad Street, is traffic-free this morning, while movement from King's College proceeding down to Catholic Mission Street inwards areas like Ganyu Smith very much okay as we speak right now. And all through that corridor, we do not have any major breakdowns to report. Okay then, so we'll be serving you more helpings as they come in from time to time. But like we do say, if what we have given you is not your experience, you can always send in your reports, and then we can escalate it to the traffic managers at the various zones. This morning, we're going to be looking at the Lagos State Budget of Sustainability, Impact Strategies, and Expected Outcomes. On the 9th of January 2025, Mr. Governor signed the Budget of Sustainability into law, and while he was doing that, he charged Lagosians to be of good conduct as well, and he also pledged to do his own part in collaborating with the State House of Assembly in bringing fulfillment to that particular budget. Let's hear him.
To it, which formed the last step of the budget process, which in our view kickstart the most important phase, which is the implementation for the next 12 months. It is with a deep sense of responsibility that we have signed this budget into law. This will be the second of our will-be 4-year budget that will be acceded to during my second tenure, and it represents another opportunity for us to advance our vision of a greater Lagos for the benefit of Nigeria, and especially Lagosians in all.
All right, so the total size of the 2025 budget of sustainability is 3.36 trillion naira, and it is the first that is being carried out. I can tell it's an audacious move by a subnational to carry a budget of that particular size. But this morning, we're going to be breaking it down to look at that impact and how Lagosians can really benefit from this budget. And joining me in the studios this morning, I have the Honorable Commissioner for Economic Planning and Budget, Honorable Move Shokpefolu George, and he's here to break it down for us. Commissioner, nice to have you in the building. Good morning.
Good morning, Victor. Nice to see you.
Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you too.
All right, so we'll come to the budget, of course, the one for 2025, but let's just take a little bit to reflect on what went down last year. How did Lagos perform with its budget in 2024?
Okay, thank you, Victor. So in 2024, we performed reasonably well. In terms of our revenue expectations, we managed to surpass our revenue expectations by 100%. So we did very well. In terms of our overall budget performance, was well over 85%. So I think for us, in Lagos, last year 2024 was a good benchmark, and that set the tone for us to be able to sort of look to implement our 2025 budget at the 3.367 trillion naira mark, which was set at.
Right. So I'm looking at the figures now. So last year, and for what you just said right now, performance 85%. Is that the reason you are taking this audacious move? I mean, last year was 2.4 trillion. This year is 3.36.
Yes, correct. So in everything we do, we look at our sustainability level. So in increasing our budget, we're not just increasing it based on the fact that we feel we're increasing it to be able to sort of continuously meet our infrastructural needs, social protection needs, and also all the other areas we look into: health, education, agriculture, and environment. So the budget has increased, but we're very, very optimistic that we should be able to fund the budget from various IGRs, and also from the deficit financing, which we've looked at, which we've reduced from last year to this year.
And I'm curious, because if we did 85% last year, and looking at the economic profile of Lagos with the indicators that you have provided this morning, Honorable Commissioner, the state is very healthy, so to say. So are we immune from what's going on across the country?
No, we are healthy. I wouldn't say we're immune. We're healthy, but again, it's all down to our fiscal discipline and the way we plan things. So in terms of our sustainability ratios, the World Bank standards are 30% at any point in time. Lagos is usually 20 or sub 20%. So in terms of our debt sustainability ratios, we're good. And then I think also we must commend our LIRS and revenue generation family, and indeed all the MDAs within Lagos State, because they have at least for 2024, they did push the bar, and for the first time, we were able to sort of hit the 1 trillion naira mark in terms of revenue generation. So I think they've done very well, and I think with the input of technology and other methods we can use to sort of increase our revenue generation, we're well poised for 2025.
And is that the reason why the budget is tagged the budget of sustainability?
It's tagged sustainability because as a government, we like to ensure that we complete and finish projects. So a lot of the projects in the 2025 budget are to be completed from 2024 and previous years. So you see things like the Massey Street Hospital, Children's Hospital, which is coming up. This last year we did very well. I mean, close to 25,000 Lagosians now ride on the blue line daily. The red line's coming up. We have over 5 million Lagosians who carry cowrie cards. So we're doing well. We've provided a lot of schools, a lot of classrooms for our citizens. So I think it's just in being able to sort of continuously move the bar, and also continuously move on our infrastructural development.
All right. So let's now look into 2025. We've called it the budget of sustainability, and I'm just looking at these figures now. 3.36 trillion is certainly not a child's play, and I'm just curious, Honorable Commissioner, how is Lagos going to be able to meet up with these numbers? Let's put it that way.
Okay, so we'll have various methods in which we would be able to sort of fund our budget. I mean, IGR is one. We have financing, which is another, and we also, financing comes in terms of loans, bonds, and But as I said, with that particular line, we're very, very careful and very, very. We would like to say that we consistently look at our sustainability ratios and ensure that we don't we're never over what we can take on. Right. But I think also in terms of our IGR, that's something that we're very, very very keen to ensure that we continuously move that up in the right trajectory to be able to continuously fund our projects. Infrastructure is a key part of the 2025 budget.
I'm just coming to that now, Honorable Commissioner, because I know there are 5 pillars upon which this budget rests. Yes. Let's look at them. What are those pillars?
Okay, so we have our infrastructural development. We have economic diversification, social inclusion and human capital, environmental sustainability, and also governance and institutional reforms. Okay. So with our infrastructure development, you know, that has taken close to over 30% of the total budget size, about 31.27 to be exact.
Okay.
And you know that focuses on areas of continuous maintenance, upgrading of our road networks, and also construction of various bus terminals. I spoke earlier about the transport infrastructure, the trains. You know, we're looking at being able to sort of open up some more lines. So currently there's discussions are going on for the line from Marina to Lekki Ekpe, Lekki Free Trade Zone.
Right.
And that area as well, as we all know, is one of the fastest growing corridors in West Africa. That's the Green Line.
Oh, the Green Line, okay.
The Green Line. So it's one of the fastest growing corridors in West Africa. You have the Free Trade Zone there, you have the refinery there, you have the deep sea port, you know, and you have the airport, which is coming in that area as well. So being able to sort of move people from Marina to that our side of town would be a game changer for us.
Right. Are you hoping to start that construction this year?
Well, works. We've started planning. We've started studies. We've started we've identified financing which we're going through. So you know, as you know, it's something that will take some time, but we're hopeful that we'll be able to at least start the process in 2025.
So infrastructure, very, very key. There are lots of talks, and this has been on for over 2-3 years now, Honorable Commissioner. The idea of the 4th Mainland Bridge, is that part of the 2025 budget?
So we did a lot of work on the 4th Mainland Bridge over the last couple of years. As of last year, the studies had been completed, feasibility studies had been completed. The PPP office had identified preferred bidder. They'd gone through a bidding round, and the preferred bidder was identified. Last year we had a lot of shift in the macros of the country and the state, as you could see. So you know, inflation and also exchange rate was, you know, went against us in certain things. So you know, we've had to look at it again. So we're currently looking at the process of having to ensure that it's a viable project. So we're rerunning some figures and some numbers, but it is something that is still in the plan. But I think we've done a lot of the heavy lifting. Okay. So a lot of the studies, a lot of the plans have all been done. So it's just to ensure that the financing can be packaged properly.
Right. Some have talked about some ambitious things as well. I mean, in the next 20, 30 years, will Lagos be able to have a tube system as part of its transportation network?
Well, I'm not a transport expert. I don't know. What I do know is that, you know, I think we have I think it's a high table water table. So I don't know if
that can work.
I'm not sure, you know. But then again, I'm not the resident expert on drainages and digging and so I'll be able to answer that.
Okay. So in terms of the first pillar now, you're doing a whole lot in terms of infrastructure for roads, for rails, and all of that. Let's look at just some critical roads that the budget will tackle this year.
Well, we're looking to sort of ramp up and complete the Okpebi-Mende link bridge. There are also quite a lot of other roads which are being constructed across the various divisions, or the 5 divisions of Ibile, you know. I mean, just to name a few, the Samuel Ekundayo Toga Road in Badagry.
Okay.
We're looking at the rehabilitation and upgrading of Lekki Ekpe Express to phase 2.
All right.
Also some the Anokpaja bus terminals, the road in Alimosho, the Abaranje road in Alimosho. So there are quite a few.
Yes, and I suspect, Honorable Commissioner, this must be a product of some of the consultative forums that you had last year.
Indeed, yes, they are, you know, and I think one of the things we were very conscious of is the fact that, you know, before you know, these consultative forums come round very quickly. So we need to ensure that we hit the ground running, and we've taken into account some of the feedback we got back from the consultative forums last year, and we've put them into this year to ensure that we try and ramp up and try and get the roads and the projects around the areas, the village areas, to near completion and completion.
Let's talk about the second pillar now, economic diversity. That's a pillar which you're also looking at as well.
Yes, so that pillar, we've allocated close to over 900 billion to the economic sector. Now that encompasses tourism, creative arts, agriculture, transport, and also wealth creation and minerals, employment, energy, waterfront, infrastructure, and commerce. So we've allocated to that area as well. I think, if we just look at the way things have, the trajectory in which the state has been going. So, for instance, instance, I'll use December as an example.
Exactly. I was just about to ask that.
You know, we had a very Lagos now is now on the map for what we all call dirty December. So
that's right.
Indeed, now we've even looked at the fact that planning has even started for this December. You need to ensure that we have enough hotel rooms. We need to ensure that we have the right sort of infrastructure to sort of carry and look after the people who would then be coming to Lagos, because indeed Lagos is now a destination. You know, so a lot of thought has been put into that, and we've ensured that we also need to fund economic diversification as well. So that's why.
And have you been able to? Do you have data that will support, you know, the kind of funding or perhaps the kind of revenue that can be generated from tourism, especially during December? Do you have data to support that?
Well, there's data that's coming, but we also know that you know, it's. I think this year was probably the year that sort of made everyone realize that yes, it is indeed, Lagos is indeed now a premier destination for December, and people actually plan ahead, book, and come into it. So we do have data. It's for us to now look at that data, extrapolate it, and ensure that we can sort of provide the right sort of services and the infrastructure around that to build up on what we have. So, so it's work in progress.
And I was also thinking about that when you talk about infrastructure, for instance. Are you thinking of a tourist village? Are you thinking of, you know, what's Lagos thinking of? So that it doesn't become boring after a while.
And so we have various tourist sites, you know, and I think just by the mere nature of Lagosians, you know, fun-loving people, you know, I don't think boring will come into play. So I think we're well versed. But we have enough tourist sites. We have also, you know, we have a very active music industry. So, you know, we feel as though, you know, we just need to ensure that we have nice, when we were in a state of by the water, aquatic splendor, we have beaches, we have it all. So it's just to tap into those potentials and ensure that we can sort of amplify them and create the right sort of services, and also create the right sort of environment for our visitors to come in and enjoy the splendor that Lagos has to offer.
Which is very good. Honorable Okwe George, one thing of key importance in all of this is light, or perhaps power supply, as the case may be. The nightlife of Lagos is comparable to major cities in the world. So what is the government doing? These days we hear of nightlife, even though it's thriving, but we usually have light is very poor in the night. So what's government doing about that?
Okay, so you know, we've also a huge part of this budget as well also looked at the electrification bill and law, you know, which was recently signed, and we've taken into law. So we've domesticated it. So Lagos State now has the law. So we've ensured that, you know, we've actively started moving towards trying to ensure that we can provide lights and electricity for our citizens. So, you know, the Ministry of Energy is working really hard to ensure that you know, that is being done. The commissions have been set up, you know, so it's work in progress. But I mean, we have done the law, we have domesticated the law, and we've also provided adequately for that to be taken into account.
So Lagosians should be expectant.
We should be, and the fact that it's domesticated now, you know, I think it helps, you know. So we're in control of our own destiny now, so to speak.
All right, the third pillar talks about social inclusion. Let's talk about that.
Yes.
I mean, what's the provision of the budget in terms of making life equal, so to say, and including everyone, so to say?
Okay, so we've looked at the fact that that encompasses health and education. So, you know, in health we've provided over 200 billion, 204.05 billion, I think, to be exact. In education we've provided over 200 as well. That's 208.376 billion. And I think with education, you know, it'll be good for me to touch on the fact that over 800 classrooms have been built and completed within the state. I think as we speak, we currently have another 282 plus at various levels of completion.
Right.
We've had over 1,590 bed hostels and built and delivered to several boarding schools. And, you know, I think the education family has earmarked close to about 400 primary and secondary schools currently for rehabilitation again. So there's a lot of effort being put into that to ensure that, you know, education is not left behind. behind. We spoke earlier about the Mercy Street Children's Hospital, which is coming up. So I think with health as well, we're continuously pushing the bar and ensuring that we can sort of meet these key pillars for our citizens.
Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. This morning on the program, we're looking at the Lagos State Budget of Sustainability, Impact Strategies, and Expected Outcomes. And of course, if you're wondering who's speaking with me so eloquently this morning, I have the Commissioner for Economic Planning and Budget, Honorable Mushokpefulu George, and of course he's taking us to the classroom. Getting back to the roads, we did tell you most of the areas we're covering is still looking pretty good. If you're making that journey all the way from Beja, connecting Secretariat, linking up with 7 Up, all the way to Alakbare and Ogudu, connecting the Third Milan Bridge is looking pretty good. So far so good, no major worries. We're still tracking that impediment of a broken down tanker that's by Igbo Ileri on the Lagos Badagry Expressway is receiving attention. By the way, more updates, a fresh one coming in from the Okiodo end. It says movement within the corridor is still looking pretty good. Ile-Epo still looks pretty fine for now. Abule Egba underneath the Jubilee Bridge, movement towards Charity intersection looks appreciably good too. And we can tell you Mobile movement is still okay, connecting Amadia to Ijaye as well as Meron, all looking pretty good this Thursday morning. Good movement is being experienced as well from Kola as well as areas like Abukan to Alakuko, looking pretty good, and no impediment cited for now if you're driving through that corridor. All right then, I'm sure you are articulating your questions. If you want to also join the conversation, feel free to do so. Honorable Commissioner, let's touch a bit on environmental sustainability. What is the budget planning for the environment this year, especially now that things are pretty so hot out there? What's the thing there from the budget?
Okay, so with our environmental sustainability, I think what we've allocated underscores our commitment to the environment, to its protection and sustainability. You know, we've allocated over 287 billion to that, to environmental protection for some key projects, which include not limited to construction of various drainage channels and infrastructure across the billet divisions.
All right.
We're also looking at being able to sort of start the systems across the places like Alaba, International Market, Koshofe, and Kurudu.
Okay.
Also, waste to energy is something that's very important, and it's something that we're looking at and ensuring that we can sort of move the needle on that as well.
All right.
And you know, we're not leaving out our public spaces and ensuring that they're clean and they're serene. And you know, so Landspark is doing a lot of work with our recreational spaces and ensuring that we can have those clean and also well maintained. You know, so those are sort of the things we're looking at in terms of our environmental sustainability.
Climate change is a big word across the world right now, Honorable Commissioner. And I know that in the past we've done COP28, COP29. This year it will be COP20. So in terms of vehicles and the kind of emissions and all those kind of policies that will be driving all of that, what's the government going to be doing in that regard?
Okay, so you know, we are very, very, very mindful of the fact that the environment is key. So you know, even in terms of some of our buses, I know Lamata is now pioneering and looking at how they're moving to some electric buses. You know, Ibile is also looking. Ibile Oil and Gas is also looking at it in terms of alternative fuel sources. You know, so it's something that we are looking at. You know, we're one of the few states that have looked at the possibility of being able to sort of have green financing and a green bond as well. So it's something that we're looking at, and I feel as though you know, if once it's being cracked, Lagos would be the first state and indeed the first subnational to be able to sort of ensure that we can benefit from alternative financing and green financing, and also ensure that we can also start talking about carbon credits as well.
Right.
within the state. So
CNG is very much on the lips of everyone right now. Is government thinking of putting investment in that regard?
Yeah, so Ibile Oil and Gas is looking at it. You know, also Lamata has also started, is also looking at some of the options for some of their buses, but Ibile Oil and Gas is actively looking at that as well, yes.
Okay. Yeah. All right, so green infrastructure is something that we talk about, the parks and all those green spaces is one. But what role will the private sector play in supporting environmental sustainability with this budget?
Okay, so in everything, we know that as a government, whilst we want to be able to provide for our citizens, we can't put everything on our balance sheet. So in everything we do, in most sectors and most spheres, we tend to ensure that we can collaborate with the private sector. I mean, if I give you an example, just to divert a bit from the environment. So even in housing, we're looking at providing over 2,000 units of housing stock within this year, and some of that is also being done with collaboration with the private sector. So we know that as a government, the key is for us to be able to provide an enabling environment and be able to sort of put all the indices there for investors to be able to come and put in their investment, and we ensure that the investment is safe and secure.
Right. All right. So I know you've touched on tourism, but what about agriculture? What roles will it play?
So agriculture is also very key. And, I think speaking to agriculture, there are various aspects to that. So, there are also parts of agriculture that touch into infrastructure. So if I talk about the food and logistics hub, which is being built, which is also near completion, we're also looking at middle market hubs to ensure that we can get the food closer to our people. And once one of the challenges with agriculture within the state is wastage. So you find that they've had a challenge with wastage, with storage. So the food and logistics hub would obviously help us cure that issue, to be able to store and also store our food properly and be able to sort of transport our food to various parts, the middle markets, for them to be able to get closer to the consumers and to our people. Also in terms of agriculture, the agricultural our family has done very well, being able to sort of train a lot of farmers, the Lagos Cares, the agripreneurship programs. So there lots is being done in agriculture to ensure that Lagos State probably has the smallest arable land. So what we've done is, I think last year we had a partnership also with Niger. Niger has the largest arable land, to be able to say, look, we have the markets, you have the largest, so be able to sort of have the sort of partnerships with other states, so we can sort of take the produce whilst they can grow it. People that have more land to do this for us.
All right, then Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM, your side mirror this morning. We're mirroring and looking at the Lagos State budget of sustainability, strategies, impact, and expected outcomes. And if you're wondering who's with me in the studios, I have the Honorable Commissioner for Economic Planning and Budget, and I'm talking about Honorable Mushokwefulu George. All right, then if you want to add your voice to the conversation, feel free to do so, and that's on 08099120777 or 09153877127. Okay, 09153877127. These are the numbers that you can use to connect with us as well on the program this morning. Okay, then, so Honorable Commissioner, your ministry is very much in charge of this budget, and I'm just looking through now. What mechanisms are you going to be putting in place, to monitor all of this? What will you do to ensure that there's effective implementation of the budget of sustainability?
Okay, so thank you. So we always have, as you said, we monitor and ensure that at any point in time we're meeting all our targets. We constantly have revenue meetings with all the revenue generation MDAs. We also look and ensure that at any point in time, most of the MDAs are reporting back if they've got challenges. So the budget is a continuous project and process. Right. It's not we do it once a year and leave it and come back and do it again the following year. No, we need to ensure that we're very reactive, and we're also ready to we have to be adaptable as well. So if we look at it and say, look, we're having challenges in one area, what do we need to do to ensure that we can sort of ramp that up? And if we're doing very well in one area, we look at it and take the lessons and learnings from that and see how we can sort of replicate that in that area as well. And we also have appraisal processes. We appraise our budget quarterly. We have the media review as well. So at any point in time, we have a snapshot of where we are and how we're performing.
All right, so at every point in time, if you see that you're not doing well in this area or that area, what indicators do you use to really track all of this?
Well, we use, as I said, we have reviews, so we have quarterly reviews. So at the end of the first quarter, we will be able to have a snapshot and see where we are in terms of our expenditure and our revenue generation, and benchmark that. And we also have run rates, so we can look at it and say to ourselves, look, if we look at the trajectory in the past and we also look at the way we're running, we should anticipate that within a 6-month period, this is where numbers we should hit. Within an 8 months or 12-month period, this is the numbers we should hit. So it's always a continuous process of evaluation, and there's a bit of a science to the method to the madness, so to speak.
All right then, and the strategies that you use. All right, 08099120777 09153877127. This question here is coming in, says, good morning to the HC. Says, what specific sectors received the most funding and why? Thanks. Boyega is sending that one in from Ikorodu. Okay, so what sectors?
The sector was infrastructural development, as I said. So that allocated for over 30% of the budget, and that went to, as I said, maintaining the infrastructure, upgrading it, construction of various infrastructure projects. So that also looked at housing units, the rail system. So that majority of our budgets, over 30%, went into that allocation, that sector.
All right, Boyega, I hope that answers your question. This one says, good morning, Traffic Radio. How will this budget directly impact the lives of everyday Lagosians? Samuel Ajayi is sending that one in.
Okay, so I think it touches on every aspect. So we ensure that ease of moving around, transportation is key. Health, education for our children, and our healthcare for our citizens. So the budget touches every aspect of life. Which obviously will impact every Lagosian. Also social protection is key. We know that obviously we're in times that can get a bit hard. So we ensure that at any point in time we can fend for our people, the Onje-Eco, discount markets, and things that can help alleviate the suffering of our people are all taken into account. So it's a budget that is not just about infrastructure, hard infrastructure, roads and bridges. No, there's also softer sides to it in terms of being able to sort of cater for our people's social protection and also healthcare and education, which is very important.
Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM 08099120777 09153877127. If you want to ask the Commissioner any question, feel free to do so. As we reflect on this budget of sustainability, we're looking at its impact and the expected outcomes as well. This one says, good morning, Victor and the Honorable Commissioner. Sustainability is a broad concept. What does it mean in the context of this budget? Thanks. Ifeanyi is sending that one. Ifeanyi, I think the Commissioner has spoken extensively about that one as well. But Commissioner, you want to respond to?
Okay, well, sustainability, yes, but to ensure that, when we say sustainability and we call the budget for sustainability, we're looking at the fact that we want to be able to, there's no use starting something and not completing something. So, being able to sort of continuously complete on all the outstanding projects we have and being able to ensure that we can keep ticking over. So there's no point, as I said earlier, starting things we cannot finish. So this budget is geared towards ensuring that projects are completed and we continuously make sure that we can fend for our citizens and look after our citizens. So that's what I'll say on that.
All right then, Ifeanyi, I hope that answers your question. More questions are coming in. This one says okay, let me just try and get that out. Okay, this one says, good morning, sir. Please ask our Honorable Commissioner, what are the efforts being made to go into partnerships? Okay, let me get that again. Okay, what are the efforts being made to go into partnerships with farmers associations to bring down high cost of foodstuffs? Oluwaloko. All right, Oluwaloko, thank you so much. He's one of our very ardent listeners. So what has been done in that regard? Because we have increased prices of higher prices of foodstuffs out there.
Okay, so in terms of the prices of foodstuff, one of the things that was done last year obviously was the markets, the discount markets, which we looked at being able to sort of bring food closer to our people at much more reasonable prices. By all accounts, the discount markets were very successful, and I believe it's something that is going to be repeated again this year. But I also know that within the Ministry of Agriculture, they have a very good system, and they have an open door policy where, if there are ways they can look at being able to sort of alleviate and sort of provide access and provide partnerships with private farmers and sectors to be able to sort of make the food readily available and at better prices. I also spoke about the logistics hub, and the middle markets. I think those would be game changers because, as I said, a lot of our issues have been with around wastage and logistics and storage. So I think with that coming online, that would help and be able to sort of reduce the cost of food and being able to get it to people better and quicker.
All right, Comrade Daniel, I would have loved you to put a call across. You instead of sending this message, you said, "Good morning, Victor, and your guest, the Honorable Commissioner. Kindly ask the Commissioner where is the Purple Rail project expected to run through, and is there any collaboration with other neighboring states in the project?" From Comrade Daniel or Nobume. Comrade Daniel, the Purple Line is from Redeem.
Yes.
It's going to run all the way from Redeem to Ojo. Yes.
Correct. So yes, it is. That's where it's running from. But I think with the rail lines, it's important for me to state that we're very proud of the fact that we have the blue line running, we have the red line running, the green line is coming on stream now. And it's as a subnational. You don't find many subnationals undertaking rail projects. Usually they're done by nationals. So and they're very intensive, and the fact that the blue line goes over water as well is something that is very very impressive and also very very tasking to do. So with the green line, majority of it I believe would be on ground level, so that is good. So we're very 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 optimistic that we can get that moving very quickly. And I think you'd find that overall we're integrating our transportation system to ensure that you can go from the trains to the buses to the last miles. Also water transport is very very important, and it's something that we're also looking at being able to ramp up over the next couple of months with various initiatives.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning. What's your name?
Yes, my name is B. I'm calling from Tulare.
All right, B. How are you doing this morning?
I'm very good.
All right. You want to ask the Commissioner a question?
Yes. Please, sir. I want to ask this budget. What does he have for teachers' welfare?
Okay, teachers' welfare.
Is there a provision to improve the welfare of teachers and school infrastructure in Lagos State?
Beautiful. Thank you so much, B.
Okay, thank you, B. So I spoke earlier about the intervention in the education sector. I spoke about some numbers of classrooms that were built, over 800 classrooms built, currently another 282 at various stages of completion. Also it's important to sort of state that yes, in terms of welfare, it's something that we are looking at. Also being able to sort of ensure that teachers are being able to sort of get to their schools a bit more seamless and a bit more easily. Obviously, transportation links, and also the idea of being able to sort of put up maybe teacher accommodations within areas of the school they're looking at, and hiring the right sort of qualified personnel is also very key. But I think we found that maybe the biggest challenge has been being able to sort of transportation and being able to sort of get to the schools on time. So we're ensuring that we can sort of locate teachers close to where they work, which we believe would help in terms of being able to alleviate the welfare.
We have more messages coming in here for you, and we have very little time. Let's see. This one says, Mr. Commissioner, sir, how is the state addressing the housing deficit through this budget? Ezekiel from Ikotsun is sent that one in.
Okay, so
you touched on that earlier.
we touched on it earlier, but I'm happy to just sort of briefly highlight again that with the housing, we spoke about the fact that we're looking at over 2,000 units of housing stock being put into place, and that goes across all the states, I mean,
2,000 units.
Over 2,000 units, I mean, we have some in Nigeria and Badagry, I think over 400, over 450 units in phase 2 and 3 in Egon,
Okay. All right,
so
more questions.
Areas, yes.
This one says, are there targeted initiatives to support small and medium enterprises? Okay, didn't put your name, but thank you so much.
Yes. So ISMEs are key, and So youth employment is key. We have a very, very active Ministry of Youth, which we always joke within the council that it's being manned by youth as well, the commissioner. So, and he's someone who's very, very active and very, very vibrant in terms of being able to ensure that our youth are not left behind. So there are various programs which are being run. We also have programs that are run also by civic engagement, and we also have programs that are run by WAPA, Women Affairs and Poverty Alleviation. So we find that all this dovetail into being able to sort of provide for our citizens, not just youths, but the elderly, but the widows, the women, in all sorts of ramifications. So they all come together at the end of the day. And that's why, we talked about social protection, and we said that, we've also invested heavily in social protection in this budget as well.
All right. So even as we round this off right now, Honorable Commissioner, what is the expectation of government from the citizens as it relates to this budget?
Well, I'd say that, I always ask that, citizens be, obviously, you hold us accountable, but be patient with us. You also know that as a government, one of the things that always come to my mind is when Mr. Governor says, even if you don't like our face, you cannot deny what we do or like what we do. So I think it's for us to be able to say that, we're continuously trying to ensure that we can provide for our citizens. We're a listening government. We take into account what is required in various areas, which is why the consultative forums are very important. We encourage our people to continuously help by paying their taxes, and also the rule of law and obeying laws, and also ensuring that we live in a city that obviously is environmentally friendly, is clean, and just making sure we obey the rule of law. And we're also very transparent and accountable government. So we know that at any point in time, our citizens hold us to account, and we can give account. So we can always
ask you questions, right?
Anytime and anytime.
All right, then we'll look for time to get you back into the studios. Please. And when we see anything out there, we'll be able to throw those questions back to you. Honorable Commissioner, nice having you in the building this morning.
Thank you. It was very nice seeing you again.
Okay, then. So I've been speaking with the Commissioner for Economic Planning and Budget, Honorable Mushokwe Fulu George, and this morning we'll be able to reflect through the Budget of Sustainability 2025, looking at impact strategies and expected outcomes. We have to go. Mike James has produced the program this morning. Maximum thanks to him. Mr. Femi Orojimi, also in the building. He's the Director of Budget for the Ministry. And Busola Aroluyi has been working tirelessly behind the scene for the program to come on stream this morning. We say a big thank you to you. In the studios as well, we say a big thank you to Benita Olame and Faith Ojokon. Our social media team, Okpayemi Shodunke, and of course, Afe John. I want to appreciate our executive producer, Tayo Akonlim. My name is Victor Oteri. Have a great day. Bye.